7 a.m. I've just finished my morning cardio and active recovery. I hit my 5 a.m. wake up. It's Friday the 22nd of August, and it's been a week since I moved into this new apartment in the city in Manchester. And it's nice, like there's a lot of energy around me. There's a lot of people that are in better positions than me. There's people in better shape than me. It's increased my point of comparison, because when I was at home in my parents' house, it's like when you're actually serious about achieving your goals and you're around other people that they don't want it as much. Like, they talk the talk. Oh, well, Hassan, I really want to just get out of my situation. I want to move out. I want to just really lock in on business. But then you ask them the next week, what's changed? Nothing. Have you started waking up early? Oh, I tried, bro, but it's just too hard. Have you stayed consistent? Have you actually worked hard on your business? Have you worked hard on improving yourself? And the answer's always no. The answer's always some fluffy excuse. The answer's always, no, well, actually, this is so hard. And then they come to you for the same advice. They come to me for the same kind of comfort. And they just want to complain about their situation but not actually do anything about it. And a couple of years ago, I was the same way. I just wanted to talk about my goals, as if like that elevated my status somehow, as if that made me better, as if that would make people think, oh yeah, he's actually really ambitious. But the day my life changed is when I realized that nobody cares about your grand plans. Nobody cares about your dream goals. They only care about seeing you do it every single day. Every single week that I see my family, every single week that I see new people, I want to be able to see them and talk about new things that I'm doing. I want to talk about the new momentum that I've built. I want to talk about the fact that I'm getting closer to my ideal self. Because I used to think that like everything would just be handed to me on a plate. Like, I'm just going to stumble up across this opportunity and then I'm going to move around the world and I'm going to be flying around all these places and making all this money, as if there was just one secret way that would help me get there. And God showed me that's not the case. God showed me that it's not about the opportunity itself. It's about who I become on my journey to absolute development. Every single morning when I wake up at 5 a.m, I'm confronted with the opportunity to step into my highest form, to step into the 100k version of myself, 100k a month, or to get back in those sheets and say goodbye to all of the dreams that I've envisioned here. This morning when I woke up, I woke up during the night a few times. I only had like 5 hours sleep, maybe a bit less. And the alarm went off for like 3 minutes and it was ringing, and I was just lay there paralyzed in bed and I did not want to get up. And I've started putting my phone on the other side of the room now, so that once I'm up, I'm up. And if I go back to bed, I'm a bitch. What kind of man gets up ready to start his day and then goes, oh no, well, my dreams don't actually matter? So I got up, and a couple nights ago, I did my morning routine, and I did my prayer, and I did my push-ups, and then I had 4 hours sleep, and that had been the case for a few nights in a row. And I just lay down on my prayer mat, and I closed my eyes, and then I migrated to my bed and got like an extra hour's sleep. And I convinced myself it was okay because I've been sleep deprived over the past few nights. But the way I felt about myself in that morning, the way I felt about myself when I woke up, I was energized because of the sleep. But I knew that I didn't keep my promise to myself. I knew that I'd betrayed my own beliefs. I knew that I'd betrayed my own standards. And as a result, the momentum didn't last with me for the rest of that day. I still did the work required. I still did my morning routine. But there was something off. Because it's these slithers of complacency that stack up on a long enough time frame that stop us from achieving our goals. So when that alarm went off this morning, I'm not letting that happen again. I'll go without the sleep. I'll go through the discomfort. Because I know that the more discomfort that I go through, I'm still crafting myself into the best man that I can be. I know that if I hit my 5 a.m. wake up and I pray to Allah and I do my morning cardio, that's what the future version of me does every single morning, regardless of the circumstance. Now, this is one slip up, and I'm not proud of it, and I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not going to shy away from telling you guys if I do slip up. But this doesn't happen often. And 99% of the time, every single thing that I say I'm going to do in my day, I do. So when people come to me and ask me, Hassan, how are you so consistent? How do you do this every day? How are you always working hard? How are you working without seeing the results? It's because I can't afford to go back to that life of complacency and mediocrity. I can't afford to go back to the man that I was that put his desires over his purpose. I can't go back to that man who'd built a successful sales agency and then let it slip out of my own fingers because of my complacency, because I let the status go to my head. When we were generating 7 figures in revenue, but we had no profit. Because I lost all respect for myself. Because I stopped putting myself first. And therefore, I'm supposed to be this leader of this big team, but I couldn't control the food I was putting into my mouth. I couldn't control the times I'd wake up late. I couldn't control the consistency and energy that I was putting into the gym. And I was wondering why my business wasn't yielding me the results that it should have. It's because I wasn't yielding the results that I should have as a man. So that's why now, every single day, everything that I set out to achieve is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. The 5 a.m. wake up, non-negotiable. The morning cardio, non-negotiable. The sitting down at my desk when I don't even know exactly how I'm going to complete my tasks that are going to push me forward are non-negotiable. Because I've been stuck at this kind of level of like 10k a month, 15k a month. And I just can't seem to break past the next barrier. But every time I think about it, it's not the model, it's not the person, it's not the market, it's not the conditions, it's me. It's the person that has to break through those obstacles. So when people ask me, Hassan, how are you so consistent? How are you always doing this every single day? It's because my desire is greater. My desire is greater than yours to succeed. My desire is impenetrable. Anybody can say that they want these dreams, that they want to retire their parents and they want to move out to all these places and they want to live in this nice apartment and they want to challenge themselves every day. Let your results speak for themselves. Before you start blaming the problem or the opportunity itself, start looking at your own life. Have you stayed consistent to your wake-up time? Have you been praying to God with sincerity and intention? Have you been putting in the reps in the gym so that you have that confidence and you have that clarity and you have that energy to go and persist with you throughout the whole entire day? Because if the answer's no, you don't have anything else to worry about other than your own self. I know that if I inconsistently wake up, if I inconsistently miss my morning routine and my wake up time, then 100k a month's never coming. I know that if I'm not praying to Allah and keeping my connection with Him solid, 100k a month is never coming. I know that if I can't sit down at my desk and do the focus work, even when I want to just grab my phone and scroll on TikTok and Instagram because I've hit this roadblock and I don't know how to overcome it, 100k a month is never coming, because the version of me that achieves all of those goals, he doesn't do those things. He doesn't settle for the complacency. He's always looking for the next mission. He's always on to the next task. So for me to go and achieve those goals, I have to live like him now. I have to live in his steps now. And that's the only way that I'm actually going to stay consistent towards my goals. That's the consistency hack. It's living in the footsteps of the future version of you, who's already achieved the things you said you would. I'm not saying it's wrong to voice your goals and opinions to your friends. I'm not saying it's wrong to share that vision. But if you're not sticking to your daily habits, there is no vision. Then it's just a dream. And that's the difference between the vision and the dream. The vision is you already executing on the tasks to get towards the ideal version of yourself. The vision is you doing everything when your brain is telling you, oh, well, you've not done this before and it's fine. Well, you could just scroll for a little bit and then, yeah, you can sleep in a little bit because you've not had that much rest, and you don't have to do the cardio this morning. You can just go on a walk after your meals. That's how you betray your own vision. That's how you betray your own mind. Now that I've moved into this apartment, the comforts seeped in even more, because I've accomplished this thing that I already wanted for so long. Oh, well, I was in my head when I move to this apartment, then I'm going to be able to lock in so much more and make better content, and I'm going to be so much more focused. And I still get the thoughts of oh, well, you've moved here now, so you don't need to work as hard, and you've already achieved the goals. The first night that I moved here, and by the way, when I talk about that 5 a.m. thing, I still hit my 5 a.m. wake up. It's just a nap that I did, but I still don't feel good about it. And it's not it's not an all the time thing. But for the past 3 months, I've been sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night. If I'm lucky, 6, because of the prayer times. And people around me will say to me, oh, well, you'd have so much better results if you slept a bit more. I know. Of course I would. But everyone wants to talk about optimizing routines and optimizing things. But not many people are willing to talk about the sacrifice. I feel no better if I've had 7 or 8 hours sleep, but haven't done all the things that I said I was going to do for optimization. I feel no better about it. I know that I'm never going to be this young again with this amount of life force to go and attack life head on. So if I have to sacrifice sleep right now, I'm okay with that, because I can still function better than 99% of people. When everyone sees me waking up at 5 a.m. on my Instagram, I know that inspires people to do better. I get the messages. I see you guys actually going after it and starting to implement the same changes in your own life. But when we've already accomplished some of our goals, it's easy to let that dopamine hit. The first night I moved here, I woke up at 5 a.m. The alarm went off and I was like, oh, you're here now, so it's fine. You don't need to wake up. And I immediately shut that bitch voice up and got up and opened my blinds and looked at the beautiful skyline view that I've got now, and was like, how ungrateful would it be of me to God to just hit that snooze button and go back to sleep after putting all that work and turmoil and praying to Allah to help me move here, to help me achieve the next step in my life and in my business. Who would I be to do that? Who would I be to slam on the brakes after God has given me this momentum, given me the progress, given me the things that I desire? At every level, our life isn't supposed to get easier. And that's where most people fall off on their consistency. That's where you think, oh, well, yeah, well, things are meant to get more simple now. I want to live this easy life. If you want that life, bro, you may as well work a 9 to 5. If you want that life, you may as well not gun for that big position that you're gunning for. Because the absolute killers at the top, the absolute dogs, the people that are in better shape, the people that are living in the penthouse, the people that are in Dubai, they don't make these excuses for themselves. They do what is required no matter what. Your desire has to be stronger than your limitations. Has to be. It's okay being consistent 4 or 5 days out of the week, 6 days out of the week. But until you can show up every single day with that same fire, with that same intensity, with that same gratitude, the 2.0 version of yourself is never coming. The vision will remain a dream. And that's the most painful thing you can go through. How much longer are you going to keep sacrificing the version of yourself that you desire so deeply in your own mind by indulging in more comfort, by succumbing to the bitch voice, by succumbing to the desires that are trying to keep you at the position that you're at right now? Because for you to grow and push to the next level, a piece of you has to die. And that's why it's so hard to better yourself. That's why it's so difficult to step into that new version of yourself, because the existing version of you is like, no, I don't want to die. And then it's going to keep feeding you these lies and feeding you this comfort so that you stay inconsistent. So that it stays alive within you. But it's the new version of yourself that's crying out for the help. And it's that battle that we have to go through every single day to let the new version of yourself emerge. It's yin and yang, it's light and dark, it's good and evil. So every single habit that you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. So the more that you say yes to the early morning wake up, the more that you say yes to praying to God, even when you don't feel like it, the more that you say yes to hitting the gym, hitting that cardio, even when your mind's telling you, oh, you've done enough. Even when you've done enough work for the day, but your voice is, there's that feeling like I can still do more. And you say yes to that rather than giving in to the comfort. These are all the votes that help you become the man you're supposed to be. Every single day, no doubt, no limitation. No quivering. These are the acts that actually help us get to the next level. This is what the successful people go through every single time they want to quit. Their desire is greater than their limitation. And that is the exact same for me and you, bro. We are on this fucking come up together. We are on this journey together. We are on this mission to become our highest selves together. Everybody that's come in and been coached by me, the difference has been night and day when they've actually stuck to their habits. Brad on the sales team, when everybody else was trying to do things their own way, when everybody else wanted to succumb to that comfort, when everybody else wanted to go and bunk off on break times and just start looking for easy ways out and started trying to go home early, Brad was in the trenches, working 8 hours plus, knocking doors every single day to make sure that he hit 2K that week, make sure he made 3K that week. And as a result, he became the top seller in the country. And then straight after the doors, he's in the gym. And during the field, he's eating meals that he's meal prepped. And that's why Brad was a top performer. That's why Brad beat every single person out of the water. And I still coach Brad to this day. And he's got in amazing shape over the past 3 months. He's been waking up at 6 a.m. every single day. He started reconnecting with Allah, gaining that connection with him. And it's always the micro habits that allow us to step into our ideal selves. It's shutting your brain off and just doing the work. It's shutting your brain off and not listening to the comfort that sets you apart. Because so many people, they say they want the change, but they're not willing to step into that new version of themselves. They're not willing to sacrifice their comfort habits. They're not willing to sacrifice the food. They're not willing to sacrifice the 2 a.m. scrolling sessions. They're not willing to sacrifice the food, the nights out with the boys, where you do nothing but set yourself back. Once you let these bad habits die, God paves a new path for you. I'm now just surrounded by myself. I've got that solitude that I so desired, so that when I want to go and meet family or friends or whoever, it's on my terms, and I yearn to do that. I'm not trapped anymore. I'm not forced out of necessity, and I appreciate these things more. So that when I'm here, I'm making that commitment to myself that, right, this is where I work. This is where I make my progress. This is where I'm stepping into the absolute highest form of myself. It's August now. The year's nearly finished. Have you achieved the things that you said you would? Everything that I prayed to Allah for, other than becoming a millionaire yet, has come to fruition. All in God's timing, all in Allah's plan. Everything lined up perfectly. At my parents' house, they're now doing renovations now. So I don't even have a room. And wallah, we didn't even plan this. Adam, the guy I live with now, he messaged me 2 months ago, do you want to move in? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, cool, mid-August time, we'll do it. My parents arranged work on their house mid-August time. And we only thought that my dad struggled to find a builder, and he only found a builder 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then boom, into work. Allah's plan is amazing. Because I prayed for this. I prayed to move out. I prayed to help me get to the next level. And now it's showing Allah that I'm worthy of the goals that I asked for. Are we worthy of the things that we ask for? That's the standard we have to hold ourselves to every day. Write this stuff down. Write it in your journal. I thought journaling was gay for so long. Write it in your notes page if you have to. Reconfirm the identity of what you want to achieve. Look at it when you feel yourself slipping, when you don't want to do the work, when you don't want to hold yourself accountable, because these things will hold you accountable. It's developing that mental fortitude and stacking the wins every single day rather than the losses that help us step into that new identity of ourselves and break past all of these barriers, because it's not about the business model. It's not about the opportunity. It's not about the glitz and the glamour. It's about who you become. It's about the new identity you have to forge through fire, through our daily habits, through our execution. Keep pushing, boys.